On the morning of Saturday's game against UT Martin, a report came out saying that Coach Mark Stoops met with officials from Florida State in Cincinnati last week. The interview went well, but Stoops says he does not consider himself a candidate for the job. After the game at Kroger Field, Stoops did not deny the meeting happened, but said Lexington is where he wants to be.
I'm not going to get into specifics, but I just, Florida State, I had a great experience there. It afforded me the opportunity to be here, and I love it here. I've been very fortunate. I have great administration. Dr. Capilouto, Mitch Barnhart, they've been so good to me. The fans, our players, recruits, and this is where my heart is. This is where I want to be. So I'm going to be at Kentucky.
Stoops and his brother Bob had both been mentioned as potential candidates to replace Willie Taggart after he was fired by Florida State. And Drew, I'm not saying that anything that Stoops just said there about loving Kentucky and wanting to stay here is not true. But if Florida State had come after him and said, "You're the guy we want, we're going to give you this much money," maybe things go differently. There's at least something he's got to consider.
Yeah, it sounds like their conversation was, hey, we're interested in you, but you're not our first choice. And then Stoops said, well, I have no interest in that. I'm staying at Kentucky. But I do like his honesty, even though he didn't get too specific. A lot of times coaches will deny having meetings whatsoever. Exactly. He at least kind of nodded, yeah, I had that talk, and now I'm here to stay. And it helps him with recruiting. He mentioned a lot of recruits have been asking what's going to happen with him. And this says, hey, my heart's here. I'm not going anywhere. You all stay in this class.
And a couple of weeks ago, and he's right, he says it's better than the alternative. If your name's getting mentioned with big-time jobs, it means you're doing something right where you're at.
Yeah, but I think if Florida State had said, hey, you're our first option, here's a bunch of money.
Yes.
I don't know where his heart would have been in that situation.
Right.
But glad he's sticking around. We like him here.
You'd at least have to think about it.
Yeah.
All right, now that Kentucky is bowl eligible, let's talk about the latest projections. Forecasters think the Belk and Liberty Bowls are the most likely landing spots. CBS Sports and 24/7 Sports both match up UK with Iowa State in the Liberty Bowl on New Year's Eve in Memphis. The Sporting News puts Kentucky and Louisville in the Belk Bowl on New Year's Eve in Charlotte. That will never happen. Whatever happens, though, Saturday with the Cards, UK will most likely end up in one of the SEC's pool of 6 bowl games that consists of the Outback, Gator, Music City, Belk, Liberty, and Texas bowls. The SEC will make assignments for those bowl games after consulting with the representatives from each bowl and the schools themselves, which rank their desired bowl scenarios in order of preference. Obviously, no way Kentucky and Louisville play a second time in a bowl game. Why would anyone even predict that?
No, and I think the Gator Bowl is still an option. There's some whispers that even though a lot of people think Tennessee will get that spot, the UK is still in the mix. That would be Jacksonville. I think it's New Year's Eve too. And Music City's still on the table. If I were guessing, I'd say Belk is where we end up, but I think there's still 4 where any of them could be the possibility.
So Belk, we would play an ACC school then, yes?
And that's in Charlotte. I think that's noon on New Year's Day. Kind of like that. Get on down there, get it out of the way, then have your New Year's Eve. But really, just good to be in the spot after losing a quarterback and a free safety and everything else that's happened with the program.
Absolutely.